Hello everyone, it's my first video that I'm making. Today we're going to be mounting something pretty interesting. You see I got a zebra here. It's my first time doing one. So we're going to go ahead and give it a shot and get him mounted today. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put the hide on him. So I'm going to turn him upside down since he's kind of cut down the back all the way. It'll make it easier to put the cape on there. As you see, I already put some glue on him. I like to get that stuff out the way. So I'm going to do my best to not get any glue on his skin. Okay, so now we're going to put the eyes in. That makes them pretty big right here. We're going to put a bit in the eye socket so the eyes have something to stick to. I'm going to put those layers like that. I would say eyes are probably the most difficult part of the mount. And sometimes every animal has their own difficulty that comes with them. But something simple like this, I mean, you're not putting antlers on it, you're just putting the eyes in and stitching it up. But even though it sounds easy, it's not. Especially because I'm really not one for it, so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But it makes me excited because I never got to mount something like this ever. Usually just seeing the normal whitetails or access deer, hog every now and then. This is something that I've been looking forward to do. Okay, we got plain eye sockets. I'm gonna grab my eyes over here and a flashlight. There's a little line that is inside the eye socket that makes me know. You want to make sure that you have them correctly in place. So now we're gonna build the eyelids. So you get yourself some clay again, and you roll them up to a good line. You want to make sure you make two of them that are even. The zebra eyes are different than normal whitetail. They got a bigger eye socket. Like a normal sized whitetail is going to be using a 32 millimeter eye. These use a 36. But there's not a lot of people that do taxidermy. I happen to just fall into it out of nowhere in my life. I mean, not all of us know what we're gonna do when we get out of high school. I've been doing Texan for that's 2 or 3 years now. Kind of jump around from wanting to get a truck driving license or working in the medical department, maybe maybe a computer tech, but I just never sat with it. I could never learn any of that stuff. It's never stuck with me. But I happen to apply at a store where I work at now. Went from being a sales clerk and a couple of years or two later, they ended up opening a taxidermy program. And the gentleman that was running it asked if I wanted to join. I said, yeah. So they tried me out on it and ended up sticking. I've liked it ever since. I always liked, hunting and stuff like that. But you never really get to see the end part of where the game and all that go. A lot of people want to get a short amount of what they bring back from the hunt. There's a lot that goes into building the shoulder rounds. Gotta make sure the height's what taken care of. And skin it up right too. Because however you take care of your animal in the field, it's gonna affect how it comes back to us. But I will say, Texan was not easy for me to expect. Struggle. It takes a lot of patience sometimes to go through all these steps and doing them right. Not a failure, but it just depends on how you take that failure. But I think a lot of us out there struggle with, finding what we want to do after we get out of school because they kind of drill into you like you need to go to college. A lot of us aren't built for that. I'm not built for that. I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I'm not book smart. Really not. I didn't do good on my SATs or anything like that. And I'll have to take a lot of, remedial classes in college. And, last minute, before they were going to send me off to college, I just told my parents I can't do it. And it felt embarrassing, honestly. Not easy telling your parents if you can't do something. But thankfully, they were there to support me. I was gonna go with my friends from school, but I really think I just wanted to go to college because my friends were going. A lot of the reasons that's why we want to go. We see our friends, they're going, and we're like, oh, we want to go too. Just because, just want to follow wherever your friends are going and be, and you feel like an attachment that you want to, continue going on. Because high school, you're with your friends all the time, hanging out, drinking, doing Lord knows what out there. And you want to continue that. You want that feeling to last. So I made my choice and decided not to go. And it took a little while for me to figure out a job. jumping around different places, applying, applied at a gas station, start off. My dad told me that I shouldn't be doing it though. I'm better than that. I think it's so bad because I would not be where I'm at right now if he didn't push me to do it. A lot of times we don't see that's what our parents are doing. You think at the moment that, oh, I'm just doing what I can for it now. But sometimes you just need a little bit, tough love for you to find where you want to go. And it's different in the cases for everybody, obviously. Not everybody, has both of their parents in their lives. Thankfully I do, which I'm very appreciative of. But after he told me that, I went and applied next door to where I work, and they told me that they weren't hiring. And then thankfully, there was somebody from the store that I work at right now there, and they offered me a job. And I took it. I'm heartbeat. I applied, and I got it, started working. So I do thank my dad a lot for pushing me to do better. Sometimes this is what we need to get where we're going. But as young people, it's hard for us to understand why our parents are tough on us sometimes. And a lot of the time it's because they want you to do better than they do. They want you to make better life decisions or do things the right way because they they didn't do it right in the beginning of their life. But most of the time it's because they really support you. They want you to be something in this life. Because one thing that's hard is finding your purpose in life. I know I struggled with it for a while. The universe goes quiet and I'm not sure what to do, where to go. They're thinking in bed, wondering what's the next thing to do. What's something I could do with my life. Sometimes, like I never believed in God in the beginning of my life. But now I think it took me a while to really understand how to live and stuff like that. I know everyone there out there is different. There's nothing wrong with that. We decide how we live our lives and what we believe, what we believe or we don't believe. Like when I was young, I had a high school job with the tech department. I loved it. Good people. I had no bad things to say about them at all. The boss was amazing. Wanted me to do. He was one of the people that wanted me to do better. But at the same time, I thought what I wanted to do was be the computer side of the world. But I just couldn't get the information to stick. I would try to study, learn more things, get certifications, and do it. Struggle. I
I took a bunch of notes, and nothing anymore. We're gonna try. It was a good job to have. Lasted me for a good while. And then once my time was up, couldn't stay there forever. That's when I just didn't know where to go next. But even in school, I tried figuring out if I wanted to be in college, what I wanted to do, jump from radiology to computer technician. I just was all over the place. And that's what's really being forced where in school wants you to go to college. And there's nothing wrong with college. There's a lot of successful people out there that went to college. But a lot of us just don't have the means to afford it. So we just can't, a lot of us just can't do it. It's different. Some people are meant for college and some people aren't. And where I live, the main jobs that are here is, all field power line companies, blue collar jobs like that. But it just wasn't my thing. I couldn't handle that. I was overweight back then. 120 pounds down since that time. So I couldn't handle that type of work. I knew I wasn't going to make it because of the long hours, sun. So I knew that I had to figure something out. And in certain places, some small towns that people live in, there's not much opportunity. There's grocery stores, occasional Walmart, stuff like that. But deep down, even though you gotta get a job, and it's the only option that you have, you don't feel happy. A lot about finding your purpose in life is doing something that makes you happy. I know that there's a lot of people that work there and that support what they do. And they gotta pay their bills because what else can they do? But people in our generation, they want to do more. They want better opportunities. There's a lot was promised to them when we got out of school. As things get more and more expensive throughout the years, the world changes around us. We're stuck just with ourselves. I'm very supportive of people who want to do things to make them happy. I truly believe that's where life should be going. But how long run, part of the reason why I'm not today is because of my parents supporting me through everything. If it wasn't for my mom and dad, I wouldn't be doing this shit right now. I'm very blessed that they pushed me when they did. Because a lot of times, you're in school, you don't. Some people don't really think about what they're gonna do after the fact. They're out. The hardest thing to figure out. I'll be honest. Most of the time, you're told what to do. When you're told what to do with your life, that's what you're supposed to have. You want to do something that makes you happy. Find something. If you're stuck at a job that you're not happy at, find some time afterwards and invest into something that you can do. Invest your time. And a lot of the things you want to invest in is different. Some people want to find a girlfriend. Some people want to make money. Some people want to, work something. Like this. What I found out is you can't do all at once. You have to pick one, which I would say finding something you love doing first and working on yourself is the best option to go. And the reason why I say that is because once I worked on myself, that's when I found the love of my life. My current fiance. I don't say current as like I'm gonna have another one with just trying to figure out what word. She came into my life so perfect that it couldn't have been anybody else's work but God. Sometimes you gotta work on yourself for something new in your life. And it's true. A lot of people say it online all the time, and I can say that it's true. Like what I did was I worked on losing weight for the first thing that I started doing. Started dieting very hard and running after that eventually. I lost all 120 pounds. It's like losing a whole person. It's a lot to go to. And one thing that's not really spoken about is how your life around you changes when you go from where you were to where you are at the moment. A lot of people do treat you differently. And I've noticed that. It's sad. It's a hard thing to explain. If the world really treats bigger people different, nothing against bigger people, but because I used to be it. I'm all about people wanting to work on themselves and changing their life, or even when they're treat everybody equally. But it's a different feeling when you're not at in your work. I have to just be honest. People do look at you differently. You get treated differently. I don't know why. I don't know why that's how things are. But it's just how it is. Okay, so now I'm gonna build the upper eye crease right here.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll out a thinner piece of clay than I did before. Put it above, right here on both sides, as even as possible. But, you know, as I was saying earlier, my whole life, I've always felt uncomfortable in my own body. When you're, overweight, you have this feeling that you just don't belong. You don't want to hang around a lot of people. Like me personally, I don't like being in crowds, like I would always stick to certain friends that I would hang out with. People that, always accepted me for who I was. I never really been to much parties either. I wasn't that type of person. Mainly because my parents wouldn't let me stay out late. I look back on that now, from how I was back then. I'm glad that I didn't go. Call me boring, but it's not my thing. Even though there was times I wanted to go and hang out with my friends, because my friends would go, but I'd be the only one staying home. And I'd hear about all the fun stories they would tell the next day. And like, wow, sounds fun. But things happen for a reason. I definitely think that my parents were just protecting me. And even if I wanted to go, it's not like I fit into the crowds. I would go there either. I wouldn't hang around this type. I would hang around a lot of people in high school, but it wasn't the crowd that I fit into. I found myself trying to fit in more and faking a personality just so I could feel comfortable. You get tired of doing that. You just want to be yourself. I was never into sports. I couldn't handle it. I was too overweight to run. Having the endurance to play anything. Every time I would try to join the sport, I quit out at the last minute because I was like, I don't think I could do it. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with making a decision for yourself. And like human, you're allowed to. My family was always doing athletics. Had a brother that was good at basketball, a cousin that was good at football and track and field stuff. I just wasn't cut out for it. I spent most of my time in high school laughing, playing on my 3DS at school with my friends or Pokemon cards. Just hanging out. That's all I was into doing. I didn't really have a hobby that I was into back then. Mainly just playing video games and being at home.
school, we spend a lot of our time just trying to get a girlfriend or a mom or whatever. I had a couple high school dates and stuff, but none of them ended up working out for me. So I'm happy because where I'm going with now, I couldn't ask for anybody, anybody else.
Okay, so we got the eyes done now. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put glue all around his eye socket and a little bit right here where there's some missing. I already put clay in the ears, so let me explain that for a second. So we use an air dry clay and we just pack them into the ears and we're just gonna stick them. You can see right here on this side and this side he has the position to where his ears are gonna go. So it's kind of like a little cheat thing, but I'm gonna put some glue, throw the skin over, and then put the eyes, and rough the eyes into place, and then stick the ears on them, and I'm gonna sew this guy down. With decent layer of glue on the eye, so this can be something to stick to. Put the ears in place. forward because usually when you see a zebra, you see them with their ears popping out like that. Most animals like these, they got a thicker skin. You're gonna have one too, but you want to try to get as much out as you can. Alright, so I went ahead and cut me up a string of sinew, pretty long one. Well, I might need more, but you could always, start the stitch at your finishing point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and sew this zebra up. It's gonna take a while, so I'm not gonna film that whole part. So we'll be right back whenever I finish sewing it up. Alrighty, so I went ahead and finished the stitch already, and then went ahead and cut off the back and stapled it to the back of the wood. So now the next part is we're gonna get some glue around here on the nostril and mouth area so we can tuck the lips in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some glue. Put a good amount right here. Get some in the mouth area so the lips can stick in there. So sometimes they leave a little bit more skin on the lips than needed. So always keep a scalpel on hand, and I'm going to use it's called a probe to tuck the lips in. Find one. I'm gonna use one of these. We're gonna use one of these right here. So I'm gonna put the skin back up in place. Sometimes the mouth line is a little bit shorter than the animal's actual size. I mean, you could make alterations, obviously, but that's one thing I'm not skilled in as much as other people. For whitetail, it's a little bit easier, but I feel like I could just make this one work. So far, it looks like it. And the under of their chin is wrinkly in real life anyways. Put some brads in the front right here so the skin doesn't pull itself out. Even though there's glue in there, still want to have some extra reinforcement. So I got these pretty long brads right here. Just gonna stick them to where you can't see them and push them in so they're not sticking outside of the mouth. probably gonna put some in the back of the mouth right here too. I'm gonna put 2 on each side. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and step back for a second from the video. I'm gonna go ahead and get my hands all over him and take some of the wrinkles out as much as I can, and then we'll be right back. Alrighty, so I got as much wrinkles out as I could right now. Could get some more out whenever it's a little bit more drier. So I'm gonna put the nose in right now. You see he's got all this skin, so I drilled a pretty deep divot inside his nostril so I could tuck this in there. You may want to look at it like this so the hairlines are lined up evenly on both sides. Get your hands in there and smooth it out. See, we're almost there, almost done. Everything's almost coming into place already. So now I'm gonna cut these extra eyelid skins off and we're gonna put the eyes in place. Alrighty, so I already went ahead and cut the skin off. We're gonna go ahead and get a good brush and some water so I can clean off all the excess glue that's on the eyes and kind of get these eyes into place a little bit with the brush. And then I'm gonna go in with my modeling tool and tool it into place. So most people like to tuck their skin. I never really learned to do it that way. So we kind of just place them in place and kind of fold the eyelids under the layer of clay that I got there. Brad's are in place. Eyes look pretty decent. So now I'm gonna put that upper crease that I put in earlier. So you have to find out, remember where you put it at when you were putting the clay, and just run your modeling tool right through it. Okay. So creases are in place on both sides, And then after that, you're just gonna keep on running your hands through everything and make sure there's no air bubbles, make sure there's not much wrinkles, and then that's it. I know this was a long video, but taxidermy is a very long process, as you can see, especially when you do something of this nature. You want to make sure it looks good. So I appreciate y'all for watching the video and listening to me talk. So until the next episode, thank you.